always study the health of our body. What's wrong with my body? If I have a toothache, I go to the dentist. If I can't see properly, I go to the eye doctor. If I can't move my hand, I go to the doctor. I can't move my hand. Please check it out. If I have some chest pain, I go to the doctor. And we study everything about health. And when was the last time we took some time to study what makes my heart sick? Why when I say Allahu Akbar it's so heavy and so boring and I can't focus? That's a sickness. Why don't I go get that checked out? Why don't I go to the spiritual doctors? The first of whom of course is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and seek a cure for it. Because Islam came to cure us of these ailments. A brother who, God forbid, has some chest pain or some form of depression, where do we usually go first?
Shrink.
Who?
Shrink.
Okay, a psychologist, right? Right? That's what you mean? Okay. Or if it's chest pain, we go to a doctor, which is good. But think of this. Psychology is a study of what? Of your psyche, of your nafs. When you go to a psychologist, what does he know about the nafs, the self, in order to cure you? Does he know anything about the self? Does he? They say they do. I think they don't. The reason is because it's a skeptical science. It's not like math. How can someone who cannot control his own desires tell you how to control yours? And they give us medicine, and we take the medicine, and it only makes us sicker. I recall a brother who had some money. He was a very wealthy brother. And he was very religious as well. He always used to give a lot of sadaqah and everything. And one day, something happened and he lost all of his money. Something happened to his business and he lost all of his money. And he came to a sheikh and he was telling him, this was the biggest blessing in my life. He said, ever since I lost my money, I am now able to focus in salah. Because before that I was too busy with my business. And did you ever have a problem in your life? And then what do you start doing when you have that problem? Who do you become close to all of a sudden? God. When you're in the airplane and the airplane shakes, what do you start saying? God, please save me. I promise. I'll come down and pray 5 times a day in the masjid. I'll put the hijab on. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. And once we get in JFK airport and we see the first, to the brothers, we see the first sister in a miniskirt, what happens? Where do our eyes go? We follow it, right? And everything we promised is forgotten. But anyway, the point is, at that moment when the airplane is shaking, what happened? We became closer to God. So sometimes that is a blessing, that God will put us through that for a reason. Jalaluddin al-Rumi has many poems, many of which are very good. He says that don't think when you want to clean a rug, what do you do if you don't have a vacuum? Let's say 200 years ago before the vacuum. How did they used to clean a rug? They beat it. When you beat a rug, are you beating it because you hate the rug? What are you trying to do to the rug? Clean it. So sometimes God has to beat us in order to bring us closer to Him, in order to purify us and bring us closer to Him. So sometimes he goes on to say, Jalaluddin al-Rumi, he says, I am amazed by the seeker of purification, the one who says, I want to have a pure heart, I want to be close to Allah, when it's time for purification, complains about the pain of polishing. Stop, God, this is too much, I don't want to be this purified. Allah, he says, in the Prophet, he says that, actually a man came up to him and he said, I love you, Ya Rasulullah. He said, watch what you say. Unzur ma taqul, he said. The man came back and he said, I love you, Ya Rasulullah. And he also added Bayt, the family of the Prophet. The Prophet said, watch what you say. The man came back a third time and he repeated. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَأَعِدَّ لِلْبَلَاءِ تِجْفَافًا, prepare for tests and trials and tribulation, a drying mouth. going to be overwhelmed with tests and hardship and difficulties. And all of this is why? Because he loves Allah and the Messenger, and that means what? Everything else has to come out. Every other sickness and love and attachment has to come out. So your love for money has to come out. The love for prestige has to come out. The love for power has to come out. The love for yourself even has to come out. We all know the hadith where Umar radiallahu anhu, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, I love you more than everything but myself. He said, still, you didn't reach that level yet. You're not a full believer yet. You have to love me more than yourself. So he went home and he started thinking, he came back and he said, I love you more than myself. He says, now, Ya Umar, now you are a complete believer. So anyway, going back to the psychologist, many times we're depressed or something is wrong, and we think it's mental, and it could be mental. I'm not saying it's not. It could be mental, but many times it's not. It's spiritual. And we are depressed, and we don't feel like eating, and we don't feel like going out. And we go to the psychiatrist, and he gives us medicine. And that's not really the problem. That's not really the problem. The problem is inside I am unhappy. And I'm unhappy either because I'm disobeying Allah, I'm sinning, I'm not obeying Him, and that is the reason of my depression. And once I get closer to Allah, that will go away. For instance, someone who has a heart attack, many times this is due to what? Why do people have heart attacks? Because they are what? Stressed out. What is stress? Stress over what? Over hell or heaven, where he's going? What is it usually about? Worldly matters. Business. My business isn't going too good, brother. I'm very stressed. And he has a heart attack. If he freed his heart, he purified it from that attachment to money, would he be stressed? No, he wouldn't. He would not. And then would he get a heart attack? No, he would not. So many times, if you cure the spiritual, the physical will also be cured. I don't want to go into too many examples, but just I want to show that we have to gauge ourselves and see where am I? Where am I from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The heart is again the place of the spiritual life. And when I say heart, it does not mean the physical heart. In Islam we believe in the spiritual heart. And who knows the meaning of heart in Arabic? Why was it called a heart? Imran? Good. I knew you would. That's why you understand. I knew you would know. Because it changes. Al-qalb min al-taqallub. Because a heart in Arabic, qalb, from taqallub. Taqallub means something that is always flopping. It's always changing. So, one day you leave Taraweeh in the masjid, you leave Ramadan, you're so up there, right? You feel like, and then you see something haram and then, oh my God, you messed up. And you go all the way back down. Your heart was in one place and then it goes back down. Or you're fasting, the whole day is going good, and then you get an argument and you feel you were here and now you came down here. Your heart changed. And some people, they're all the way down and they come up. This is the nature of the heart. One poet, he said a beautiful poem. He said, Allahumma kana